What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Blank Online here today to chat with you more about some Call of Duty Warzone. Season 4 Reloaded is upon us. This is the massive update that Infinity Ward promised us and that we know is going to be nerfing the Grau, and nerf the Grau they did. I'm going to go through the patch notes and more, everything that's new in the game. We're going to go through it right here, right now. But before we get into that, only 98% of you people watching this video right now are subscribed to the channel. So if you haven't done so yet, make sure you click that subscribe button to keep up to date on everything to do with Warzone, Call of Duty 2020 and more. Without further ado, let's get into it. Update 1.23 is out now on all platforms, so that's PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. If you own both Modern Warfare and Warzone, your update is going to be 22 to 32 gigabytes, dependent on what platform you're playing on, as well as an additional 3.5 gigabyte data pack that needs to be done and downloaded after the new update is done. So overall, you're looking at around 25 to 35 gigabytes. In terms of your patch that you're going to be receiving if you own Modern Warfare and Warzone. If you just own Warzone, your update's only going to be around 22 to 30 gigabytes, again dependent on your platform. Both updates will reduce the overall footprint of the game, by the way, which means it's going to reduce the overall file size of the game, so that's always a good thing. You don't want 120 gigabytes just sitting there on your console or on your PC for no apparent reason, so it's good that Infinity Ward are taking measures to reduce the overall game size, which is a very, very good thing. There's a bunch of new stuff here for Season 4, a bunch of new stuff that has been introduced into the game, so I'm going to go through most of the things. I won't go through all the nitty-gritty things, like a couple of weapon balancing issues, a couple of fixes and bug changes and that sort of stuff. So if you want to read the entire patch notes, if you want to get up to date on everything, and by everything I mean fucking fix the wording in daily challenge kind of everything, I will leave the patch notes in the description of this video so you can go ahead and read that for yourself. I'm going to go through the new playlist, the new weapon, the new things that have been popping up in Warzone, and of course the weapon balancing. Let's get into it. I'm going to start off by talking about the new playlists that are coming here to the game for both Modern Warfare and Warzone as well. The new playlists we're going to be seeing in the Modern Warfare multiplayer, new and returning, is Ground War, Blueprint Gunfight, Team Defender, Cheshire Park 24/7, Shoot the Ship 24/7's back, which I'm very, very excited about. Gunfight Tournaments and Realism Mosh Pit is now a playlist filter. I don't know why or who asked for that, but apparently someone did. Shoot the Shit 24/7 coming back is a very, very good thing. Obviously, to complete your weapon challenges, camo challenges, all that sort of stuff. Obviously, having Shoot House and Shipment both in a 24/7 playlist is a very, very nice thing. Nothing's worse than going through 10 or so lobbies just trying to avoid Piccadilly and Anya Palace. Now we have a 24/7 playlist of maps that are actually decent in the game, which is very, very good. The next thing we're going to talk about here is the new Warzone playlist. So Blood Money is back. Battle Royale solos is still there. Duos is still there. Trios is still there. But Battle Royale quads has now been changed to Battle Royale quads 200. To be honest, I don't know why they keep changing quads. They removed quads, they brought it back, and now they changed it to 200 quads. I don't know why they're doing that. But apparently quads is the thing that they want to tinker with, and so be it, I guess. Battle Royale quads 200 is out. That's one of the main things that's just sort of advertising here with Season 4 Reloaded, like, oh, look at that, we have 200 players now on Warzone, go into Verdansk and fuck shit up. I don't know, and I don't really care. It's either going to be a good thing or it's going to be a bad thing. If 200 players in quads doesn't work, we're going to see that change very, very soon. If it does work, we'll see it stick around, but this is most likely just an LTM, so it's not really going to be the base game all the time. It's just an LTM. We'll play it for now and it'll be back to normal soon enough. Those are the new playlists here, at least for now, for Season 4 Reloaded as of June 29th. Let's get in to some of the new features that we're going to be seeing here in Warzone. New weapons, new equipments, new contracts. Let's get into it. The new equipment we're going to be seeing here in both Modern Warfare and Warzone, I assume, is the spotter scope. Now, what the spotter scope is, it's basically like a sniper scope, and what it does, it allows you to scan the environment around you and mark enemies without being detected. This is because the scope does not have that glint effect. Now, what that glint effect is if you've ever seen a sniper or use a sniper, when you aim in with that sniper or you see someone aiming in with the sniper, you'll see that sort of like flashlight type effect. That's what the glint is. is, and this spotter scope does not have that, therefore making it nice and stealthy, easy for you to scout enemies and all that sort of stuff. It's not going to be used in a lethal sense. From what it's described as here, it can only be used for sort of recon and that sort of stuff, not really to take people out with. It's reusable, so it's going to be some sort of equipment based things, I assume, like a heartbeat sensor, or could potentially be a field upgrade as well, but that's nice that they added that here into the game. The next thing they added is a new contract, and it's called Supply Run. Now what this is essentially you pick up the contract and you have a specific amount of time to reach your nearest buy station. Once you reach that buy station, you will have discounted items in the buy station so long as that contract is active for. This is cool. I don't see why it would hurt the game at all. It's just a cool little thing to do here in the game. Obviously, it won't give you any monetary rewards, so any money or anything like that. It will essentially allow you to buy things cheaper in the buy station, which is very, very cool. It's really just the fire sale in-game event, but for your own personal squad and without having the in-game event happen in the actual game, which is very, very cool. Again, I don't see how this hinders the game at all. If anything, it just gives players another thing to do, which is fine. And if anything as well, it will increase traffic going to like buy stations, so therefore speeding up the overall gameplay of the game, which is always good there. So that's the new contract. We do have a new sniper rifle added into the game. The new sniper rifle is called the Rytec AMR. In order to unlock the new sniper rifle, you're gonna have to get 3 quickscope kills with either the sniper or marksman rifles in 15 different matches. It is a semi-automatic weapon, so it's not like a bolt action or anything like that. New weapon in the game, pretty easy challenge in order to unlock it. I mean, we do have to shoot the ship 24/7 coming back, so it's going to be even easier to complete this challenge. So if you want to go ahead and unlock that weapon, go ahead and do so. I'm not too happy. It's not like I'm like, oh my god, this Rytec, this is gonna be beast. It's not really anything like that. It's just cool that they added a new weapon into the game, and I'm excited to see how that gun plays. Let's get into what I'm sure everyone wants me to talk about, and that's the weapon balancing, and more specifically the Grau and the MP5. I do want to touch on a couple of things before we get into those two weapons, and a couple of things that have changed different weapons in the game for better or for worse. The AX50 has received an increased damage range, and the HDR has gotten a guaranteed 1 hit to lower torso at any range. This is interesting because the one thing that I think has sort of been weighing on people's mind is whether or not it's worth running a sniper rifle in your loadouts. The AX50, for me personally, has never really been a viable sniper rifle. For many people it has, but for me personally, it really hasn't done the job like a HDR would. By increasing the damage range, that's good because you don't increase the overall damage, you just increase how much damage you can do at what range, so that's fair enough, I guess, making the AX50 a bit more viable. The HDR getting a guaranteed 1 hit to lower torso at any range is game changing, because whether or not that translates into Warzone well enough, we could be seeing more people running around with the HDR because it is a guaranteed 1 hit to the lower torso. So theoretically, if we're thinking about that in a Warzone sense, it could potentially be an instant down wherever you hit an enemy. And that's nuts. That's actually pretty crazy to think about. So that's something to sort of think about as well. Whether or not, how you're going to replace your Grau, how are you going to replace your MP5? Are you going to run an MP7 HDR? Are you going to run a Fennec HDR? Like what are you going to do? So that's something there. I'm going to have to test it out myself. We're going to see how that runs. The next thing I want to sort of touch on here before we get into the Grau and the MP5 is that the CR50X AMAX has received a decreased damage range. So they nerfed the Galil, making it harder for me to sort of recommend that weapon as sort of like that new meta, or to see how the meta is going to get shifted because of the damage range decrease there. It's just making weapons like the M4 and the M13 that much more appealing to use when they're doing things to the Grau and the CR56. The next thing before we get into the Grau and the MP5, we're going to talk about the no stock attachment. Now, everyone who runs an SMG in Warzone knows that the no stock attachment is one of the best attachments to run in Warzone and in Modern Warfare as well, purely because of a sort of like a run and gun sort of point of view, and sort of overall weapon handling ADS point of view as well. The no stock attachment has gotten a nerf here, so it has increased the weapon recoil when you're running that attachment and has decreased the ADS aiming steadiness. Aiming steadiness is one of the things things that the no stock attachment actually benefits your weapon with. It's one of the pros when you're looking at it in the gunsmith. And by nerfing the no stock attachment, it just essentially makes the weapon a bit less of like a no recoil laser, increasing the recoil, making the guns a little bit harder to control. We're gonna have to see how this translates in game, whether or not it's a noticeable difference or whether or not it's really just kind of nothing. We're gonna have to wait and see on that one. So I guess that's just another thing to think about when building your weapons in the gunsmith, thinking about how the no stock has increased reload now rather than doing what it's meant to do and sort of kind of decrease recoil, but at the same time not, because there's no stock to sort of handle that recoil. I don't know. I don't shoot guns. I don't know how this thing works, but let's get into the Grau and the MP5, which I know a lot of you guys want me to sort of talk about. We'll talk about the MP5 first. They decreased the damage range, they decreased the 10mm damage range, they reduced long range damage to 10mm ammo, and they did a slight recoil increase to 10mm ammo. A nerf for the MP5, one of the best SMGs in the game. Again, a nerf to the MP5, making weapons like the MP7 and the Fennec more viable for people to use in Warzone. Again, the shifting of the meta as a result of this patch. The Grau 5.56, what did they do to the Grau? What they did was, they did a damage range reduction, they slightly increased high frequency recoil, and then they reduced recoil compensation and decreased range on the Tempest, Archangel, and FFS Nexus barrels. Not necessarily the nerf that we thought it was going to be, not necessarily the massive change to damage and recoil and all this sort of stuff that I personally thought we were going to be seeing here. They basically just did range and recoil nerfs and or buffs. They buffed what those things would do, but they nerfed the weapon's behaviors overall. I'm gonna make a video on the Grau post patch, and I'm gonna play with it, see how it runs in Warzone, see if it's viable anymore, because at least if you were to look at the patch notes just from face value and you were just to read the words on the screen, it doesn't look like they did much to the Grau. It doesn't look like they really changed how it would laser people at any sort of distance. If anything, if you were to just look at these patch notes alone, you'd think, alright, well, you can still use the Grau, just use it at medium to slightly long distances rather than before. You'd use it literally at any distance and it'd be good. So I don't know. I really don't know how to feel about this. I'm gonna have to wait and see in game how it performs, how it feels, to see if the meta is really going to shift. If the meta does shift, I feel like we're going to see more people running things like the M4 and the M13, because those weapons did not see any sort of nerf or buff here in the update. So they're the same guns that they were pre-patch. So post-patch, they potentially could become the new metas. But ladies and gentlemen, that is all for today. That is Season 4 Reloaded. Nerfs to a bunch of weapons, new playlists, new weapons, new contracts, 200-player Warzone, and much, much more. As I said, if you want to read the full patch notes, I will leave the link in the description down below. Click like if you enjoyed this video. In the comments down below, I want to know what you guys think about the Grau nerf. What do you think about this gun? What they did to the gun? If you've played with the Grau post patch, how viable is it? What do you think about it? Let me know, all that stuff and more. Again, if you want to see that video of me trying out the Grau post patch and seeing what it's like, make sure you do click subscribe so you don't miss out on when that video goes live. If you want to as well, you can follow me on Twitch, where we do play Modern Warfare Warzone live on Twitch for you guys to enjoy. So follow me over there so you get notified when I do go live, and I will see you, all of you, in my next video. Peace out.